Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to yet another episode. I believe we're now on episode 8 of our local to global. We are now into the beginning of 2023. I have advanced, I just launched a game up. I've advanced to our first show of the year. I haven't actually played in a day or two. So, with my memory being as shocking as it is, I suppose a quick recap for my own sake wouldn't be the worst. We have done one or two things off camera, and I've changed my mind about one or two things. Obviously, last episode we had Mitchell essentially change to finally become the architect, which he, of course, is also known as, where he betrayed Hangman. Essentially, they were sort of joined at the hip since day one. Well, not really day one, but for most of the year, helping each other out or trying. And he essentially revealed all and used them essentially as a pawn piece in order to take the belt in our last show of the year off Davis Wayne Newton, which was a success. It ended up being our show of the year and our match of the year. And of course, we ended the year with the Architect being the new champ. So we'll have to see how that sort of develops going forward. I did manage to figure out how to change the gimmicks with a creative idea, and essentially I wouldn't have figured it out because I was doing it off camera. But essentially, if anyone who doesn't know, I thought you would do it through here, but basically when you are changing someone's gimmick, it's actually very obvious now. When you prepare the gimmick change, you actually do it here. As you're doing it, it's not necessarily after or whatever, or after you change it before it's actually assigned to them through segments. So yeah, bit annoying, but because I have figured that out, the original plan was obviously based on last show, the Architect wins the belt, and I was talking about how it would make sense for Hangman to then turn face and re-debut as a face and run that storyline, and I said no, it would make sense, but I'm not going to do it just because we're at this early stage. But I've actually changed my mind. So we're going to leave Hangman on the shelf for a couple months, and then he's going to re-debut as a face. That's the plan. And when he returns, which will be in a few shows, we're going to make, of course, we'll make Hangman a face, and that's when we'll end the storyline of the Founding Fathers, which is doing really good. I was supposed to end it on the last show, but I forgot. I think I was going to do it for the segment rating, for the angle, and then I didn't by mistake. But it's worked in our favour now because we'll keep it for the time being. And then we'll change it when Hangman returns, which I guess is maybe a bit of a spoiler, but you guys watch me do the bookings anyway, so it's good for me to give you guys a bit of an insight on how I'm feeling and what's going on, I suppose, which is good. So yeah, Hangman's going to turn face. We managed to figure out the gimmicks, and I also signed, because we have Hangman on the shelf, we're essentially down a heel. So I thought, why not check out my shortlist? And I actually found this guy, the Historian. He's only 26. He's going to be debuting his Wrestling's Future, which that's just what the game gave him, so we'll just stick with that. He, of course, only costs like $30. He's fairly decent when you think about how our roster looks. He actually has a bit of charisma and star quality about him as well, which is pretty solid. And obviously his fundamentals are good. He's only 26. But the main reason, and I almost spotted it instantly when I was looking at people, is he has booking skill. And he's also a professional personality type, which is obviously really good when it comes to sort of essentially you want your booking team to all get on, so that you want them to have positive personality types. So he's already been added. We added him straight in to the booking team so we can generate even more creative energy. And as I mentioned when I added Dr. Funkenstein, obviously these guys can be changed, but we still have like 2 more open slots, which probably won't be filled for a while. And then when the time actually comes to rotate people out, essentially probably these 2 guys, it won't be for years. So we may as well just roll with it and get these guys in. So I'm quite happy with that. He'll make his debut on this show, as we just debuted Marco Gonzalez last show, the son of Sean Gonzalez, and he got a pretty solid rating because he's much younger. The Historian isn't really a rookie per se, Um, whereas Marco is only 21, maybe 22, I believe. What is he? Yeah, 21. We're actually going to now. We need to remember to leave Hangman. Give night off. Yep, that's fine. We'll use everyone else. Generic venue as always, which is pretty good. Team meeting. How much are we generating now? So we're still only running an hour show, so that's a 20. I'm trying to just. So we began the meeting with 34 and we've ended it with 154. Now the historian's generating way less, but I wonder if that's because he's on this his trial period, which I noticed until March. I'm assuming it would be because he definitely has a higher booking skill than Craig. Although Craig still generates more than Doctor, and Doctor has a higher skill. I mean, it won't matter too much if he stays at 38 creative energy, it's still pretty good. That's almost like one full card just based off him. So we have 154 to spend. So I will try here, I think, and go for. Let's try creative finish, and we'll try maybe a character idea. Sure. Yep, that's perfect. Surefire hit. I do like to do the creative energy. Oh, another surefire hit. Perfect. That's fine. We have 64 points left, but we'll just save them for now. Let's not push it. I'm happy with that. Marco was brought before the wrestler's court accused of being an hour late, picking up his assigned travel partner. The judge, the architect, found him guilty and sentenced him to pay for the traveller's partner meals. Okay, that's not great, but let's see, maybe he gets a change. Yup, small positive impact. Okay, I'll take it then. Max Mayhem brightened up the mid backstage. Good stuff. Okay, not the worst. Team bonding we'll stay away from because Mutant still is being a little bit of a pain from time to time when it comes to the team bonding because of his morale. Let's pull a rib and we'll pull it on. Let's pull it on Dr. Funkenstein, the people person. Oh wait, I didn't realise we could do. Oh what? I didn't know we could change this. 35% chance of improving locker room morale. There's a 25% chance of upsetting the target, otherwise there's a 25% chance of improving their morale. A major prank. Essentially just higher odds. Yeah, we don't. Let's do a practical joke. What? Oh my god, he's upset. Oh no, we're not having much luck with that then. It's backfired. I feel like the percentages, maybe it does, I don't know. I'm speaking without doing all the research. But I have a feeling this is probably the same based on the rib level you pick. But I feel like it should probably be based upon the personality of the person you're doing it to, which might be the case, I don't know. But the fact it's failed, and I'm sure Dr. Funkenstein's like a people person. So you think he would like get it? I don't know, maybe not. Maybe I'm not looking at it the way the game does, I suppose. I mean, oh well, it's failed, but what can you do? I guess there's not much we can do there. We're actually going to have Davis, who's just lost his belt. He won't be happy with that. And we're going to have him backstage being interviewed. Where is the being interviewed? There we go. We'll have it be just do 4 minutes. And it's essentially Davis announces his rematch is next month. Essentially, his rematch clause, which is always like something I guess we'll lean into. So he essentially announces getting interviewed backstage. We'll have him actually scripted. I feel like that's maybe the best. I may change the angles to always be scripted, but we do have people like Papa Soul, Dr. Funkenstein, probably maybe even Mutant, who can do it without being scripted. But we'll see how that does. That's not going to open the show. To open the show, we're going to have the newly changed The Champ Architect coming out, cutting a promo in the ring for 5 minutes. And it's essentially. We'll list it as the. Just intro, warming up the crowd. Obviously, we know the architect. He basically does what he wants, in a sense, you know. he's sort of like been hiding his persona a little bit for the last year, and now it's came into full effect after the end of the year show. And he essentially comes out and announces, this is obviously before Davis revokes his rematch, and he essentially says, this is his company now, in a sense. Everyone wants the belt, he has it. And he's already heard that there's nowhere for Hangman to be seen, which is good because no one wants him here. So he should just go. Hangman should go, not return. We don't care. I've essentially chewed him up and spat him out. Um, and then he announces, but he is going to be fair. He's going to maybe issue a couple open challenges here and there. He's going to give it to the people who deserve it. And with him being the new champ, he's already been informed, which he's kind of like, he's not really lying, but I guess it's not really believable. He says the newly crowned young wrestler of the year for the company will face him for his belt, which is, of course, we know Blue Dragon won, but Blue Dragon is essentially a jobber. He's momentum's in the dirt. He's essentially quote unquote inexperienced, which he isn't, by the way. I actually checked Blue Dragon. And because he's doing all his touring in Japan, he actually is turning out really good, really fast. It's kind of scary. I should probably stop jobbing him out so much. But essentially, this is viewed at as being an easy steal win for the architect. He essentially, in this circumstance, gets to call the shots, and he makes his first title defense against the guy who is like not viewed in the eyes of the fans as being a worthy competitor, like at all. But the architect's essentially saying, he's giving a chance to all the people who deserve it, when it's not really the case. He's just being very strategical against his prized possession. But it's going to be an open match. It's going to be actually much closer than maybe it would have been seen. Now, of course, Blue Dragon might not get us the greatest rating here, but yeah, I'm hoping it's not going to be too bad. I could somehow incorporate one of the other guys of the Founding Fathers storyline to come, but I don't really want to, even though it will help with the rating, but we're going to just go for it. It might not do too bad. Well, it shouldn't do bad, but it's because it's a heel versus a heel as well, and it's going to be a tainted finish, but we're going to roll with it. I want to try and get through these anyway and not think too much into it right now. We're still insignificant in size. We're also, I'm trying to think of a third angle here that we could pull off so we get the bonus that'll help with our show segment ratings here. I think we'll do... Nothing really makes sense though, does it? I'm thinking maybe Papa Swole. But most of these like hype videos, pointless. I mean, Beatdown seems a bit... Brawl. Outside broadcast, I don't even think we can do. We don't have the production for that. Stare down's working the crowd. Nah, I think we'll stick to two. In fact, no, we will. We'll do one with Papa Swole actually, but we're just going to do another interview, another backstage interview. I think. If I do him on scripted, and it's essentially Papa Swole. Essentially, Papa Swole said he got his title shot finally fair and square, but it wasn't to be. He'll, keep on the grind, try his best to get it again. I do like Papa Swole. He is someone I want to try and push, but just with Hangman and the Architect. Okay, he preferred to work with a script. I was wondering if he would. We'll improvise that. And then we need to actually start adding some matches, which we will do now. I think we have that character idea, but it's essentially who we give it to. In fact, is Doctor pissed? Oh no, he's still pleased. So the rip didn't have that big of an effect. He's actually up to legendary too on his. thing is, we could give it to someone like Max to try and help his momentum because he's cold right now, which is essentially like it's like the midway point of being in the red because he still has 2 more levels to go down, but he has 2 more levels to go up to get back to neutral, I believe. So we could use it on him, but we are going to have him fight. We'll have him go up against the Historian, and I think we're actually going to give Historian the win here because Max is like older. His pop's not great, but it's obviously much higher than the Historian. So I think we'll actually have Historian an open match, clean win. He's going to actually win on his debut. Okay, good. Max wasn't fussed with that. Then we're actually going to have. Did Mutant and Papa Soul have bad chemistry? I can't remember. I feel like they did. Let's see. And they're actually going to go up against. Okay, they'll go up against Marco and Jules, I think. Oh, they do. I had a feeling maybe they would. Right, that's fine. We'll actually do. We'll do Papa Soul and Remy. 14 minutes. No, we'll do 15, same as the main event, I think. And we're going to have Papa Swole pin Marco. It's going to be open match, but clean win too. And this can be right before. No, actually, this can be after. I think we'll do Davis's rematch here. Architect intros the show, and then we'll do add match. We actually have quite a lot left to use here, but I don't think I'm going to be using them all. Now, we shouldn't. I wanted to do Davis Wayne Newton against Connor, but we'll actually do Davis against Mutant. Hopefully, this doesn't outperform the main event. There is a chance it might, but it is going to be open and a clean win for Davis because I want to obviously keep his momentum strong. He is still one of the best we got. And then we'll move that up there. So we're essentially missing. Marco Gonzalez is being used too much on this show. What? Have I goofed up? He's only being used once. Huh? Have I? So that's Max and Historian. Davis Wayne is on that angle. Marco Gonzalez is on there. Blue Dragon and Architect's on there. Wait, what? It's being used too much on this show. I don't know why. What does that even mean? I thought it meant like the fans will get bored of seeing him. He's like being overused. Oh, none are being furthered. We need to do that with the storyline. We'll actually do that with Papa Swole here. We'll actually have him talk. In fact, you know what we'll do? Which would make more sense. Since he mentions Hangman in the promo, we'll have Hangman here. Just be off screen. No, wait. Off screen essentially counts as like. Yeah, okay, yeah, off screen makes the most sense. Yeah, do that. That should fix that. Right, I don't get this. Marco Gonzalez is being used too much. How? He's only in one match. That makes no. I really. Maybe it's because he's like on the show for too long. Okay, it did. That is what it meant. I've never. What the hell? I've never seen that before. Why would it say that? Let me check. Why it's Is it maybe because? Is it maybe because of his popularity then? Or maybe it has an effect because I don't know, like his gimmick's so bad too. Like maybe it's they just don't want to see him. That's weird. I mean, we fixed it essentially, but yeah, that's a weird one. Now we do have Connor, who we don't really care about. He's essentially being used as a Hoover style. But Dr. Frankenstein, I think we actually left him off a show not long ago. So what we'll do is I was going to maybe give him the character idea because, like I said before, I'll be using them like hot candy, essentially. You know, hot pieces of cake, just handing them out to everyone. But I don't really want to give it to him. Let's see how he feels after this. We are going to run the show the way it is and leave the both of them off it. But I'll need to maybe take into account a bit more of leaving people off shows. But it's quite hard beforehand because I don't plan that far ahead. Not right now, anyway, with where we're at. So, along with Hangman, we might have to be careful because this is like as much matches essentially as we could do. Well, not really. We could do more, but probably only squeeze in one, and we're almost at the show cap, and I don't want to go over 1 hour. So, it is what it is. Wait, because Hangman was off screen, did we essentially use him on this show, even though we gave him the night off? Or no? Just because he's popped up here? Actually, I don't know if that's how it works. I don't think so. Right? Surely not. Anyway, this is a 59 segment rating, which is huge. I don't think we scripted this either. This one. I think it was just David Swain's interview. Yeah, exceptional improvisation. The new champ starts off the show strong, gets the crowd hotter, and worked well, or worked superb without a script, and advances the Founding Fathers storyline that will keep going for a couple more months, keep the fire burning. But 59, huge angle rating. Then we get a 44 opening match. We actually get a good gimmick rating too. It started out as great, which is actually that's like really good. I think after great it goes straight up to legendary, so perfect debut. The historian pulls in a 41, which is also pretty good to instantly get into the 40s. A small penalty to star quality during matches and angles, which is a bit of a shame, but it's not really going to matter too much with the way we intend to use him for the moment. But great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. The historian beats Max Mayhem with a blast from the past in just under 10 minutes. 44 segment rating. Great rating, gets the crowd hotter. First match goes as intended there. Then we have the interview with Davis Wayne Newton, which of course we scripted. He's essentially commenting backstage that he's essentially announcing that next month his rematch clause will be not revoked, but put in place. And he's essentially doing it quicker rather than later. So next main event, Davis gets his rematch. And it's good to know here, he's not been cleanly pinned, Davis. I think the 1 or 2 matches he did lose, he lost a tag match where it was Papa Swole who got pinned, and then of course he lost last month when he lost his belt, and it was Hangman who got pinned. So he's essentially, in that sense, he's unbeaten, you know. But 39, not the best, but we'll take it. It's still pretty solid. And we have our tag match next. Marco Gonzalez struggled. He was the weak link. Him and Jules have absolutely zero chemistry, which tanked Marco's in-ring performance to a 24, which, wow, I don't think we've ever actually seen that low. Maybe with Dr. Funkenstein at the start, but it's a clean, decisive win. And about that had great wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Remy and Papa Swole defeat Marco and Jules Knight. Papa Swole gets the pin over Mark Gonzalez with a big splash, and their ratings were very good. Papa Swole hits a 47, 46 for Remy, 45 segment rating, so still very good stuff. We're almost into triple digits on our attendance, or just one off, which is a bit annoying, but it's good that we're still on the rise there fairly quickly. Okay, a 56 segment rating here. It was essentially carried by Davis Wayne Newton. He hits a 59 again. And it's about that superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. Davis Wayne Newton defeats Mutant by submission. Mutant gets another horrible rating too. He gets so many bonuses to Mutant. His inconsistency, which many of the guys in the roster have that, and then he has his stamina and low morale, but I don't know if I'm just being too critical of Mutant because I was expecting better things from him. But yeah, I don't know if it's his morale is tanking. Like, I don't know how big of a penalty morale is to your in-ring performance, but the fact he's only hitting a 34 and he has a hot new move, his momentum's up, he has, like, you know, he's got good momentum, charisma, star quality, legendary gimmick, he has so many bonuses, hot new move. It's a bit of a disappointment. It's only a 34. Mutants essentially carried him in this match. No, Davis has carried Mutant. Sorry, Jesus Christ, I can't even speak English today. But yeah, 56. Another win for Davis. Keeps the momentum up. Moving into the Papa Swole interview. Benefits from a hot catchphrase. He gets a 46. Respectable, very good stuff. Hopefully that stays for a little bit longer for Papa Swole. But yeah, solid rating heading into our main event. Hopefully this does not disappoint. We have our new champ against the, as he calls it, it's Young Wrestler of the Year, but he was referring to him in the opening segment as the rookie. You know, the rookie of the year. He's giving Blue Dragon a chance, a fair chance. He's being noble, he's being kind, you know. Even though we all know what he's doing, and it pays off in his favour. Next segment. Okay, we get a 55. Superb wrestling, decent reaction from the crowd. The Architect defeats Blue Dragon in 15 minutes by submission with a blueprint after blatantly cheating. This match was essentially much closer than we all expected, and Architect to kind of show off that even though Blue Dragon's in the mud with momentum, he's a very good competitor. Creative finish is a success, which helps boost us up here. We hit a 55, which is just slightly below the Davis Wayne Newton match, but it's still very good. 55 I'll take, a 58 rating for the Architect too. So he starts off his reign as champ, making his first title defense. Okay, the fans are disappointed of the storylines further during the show. None really had it had any dramatic stakes. That makes sense. It was more just the Architect intro where he very vaguely mentioned Hangman, so that's fair. Our show increases popularity. I think though actually even with this penalty we still did very good. A 53 overall with how the show went is very decent. I'll take it. You know, I'll take it. We'll give this to let's give it to Max. Trying to think who could use it, and we'll try. We'll give it to Historian too, the new guy. He had a very good debut, and I'm really glad his gimmick turned out well because that was becoming a bit of annoyance, a bit of a pain. We lose 630. Our sponsorship should cover most of it. We're obviously still spending quite a bit more on workers. Mainly it's because I'm still using Craig Prince, my avatar, as the road agent because, it's obviously not taking it off, but I feel like it should because I've been watching some other people's local to globals or just people on the forums and stuff, like screenshots of their games, and they can somehow get their worker. Some of them only are paying out like 400 a show, like 350, 400 a show, kind of using the same methods I am, so it's a bit annoying. It's not quite working out that way for us, but there's obviously way more to it. It's kind of hard to really pinpoint exactly. I think, well, for me it is. So we might as well just use Craig Prince since he's on a written contract. Regardless, he'll get paid. But the ticket sales are rising slowly, so it's not all bad. Our popularity stays at 10. It goes up, so essentially it's hit its cap. So not the perfect start to the year, but we'll move on. We'll move on. Still gaining pop though, obviously, which is good. I can't really complain. But yeah, I feel like I blabbed on quite a bit. I'm almost at 30 minutes and we've only managed to get through the first show, which is a bit of a pain. I've been trying to sort of keep it short and sweet, more so I can get through more episodes as well and play more of the game in a sense, which I haven't really been doing. I've kind of been just making a video for one episode and then not playing until the next day, which is becoming a bit, I don't know, I'm like, want to play more, but I've kind of been stopping myself, but I'll probably stop that now. But pretty good show. We'll go into February, and I'll see you guys once I'm done advancing, moving into the Davis Wayne Newton rematch. Okay, we're done with advancing. We did actually, before we jump into this, I have decided, because I got an email during my advances from the one and only Blue Dragon requesting a pay rise, which I thought was hilarious. Just given on the circumstances, he gets one title shot and he comes running to my office. Now, it's obviously because of his touring and everything else. So, I obviously know the little trick, I guess. If you give them a full pay rise, they're happy. If you give them 75%, there's no, there's usually no good or negatives. If you give them 50, they're a little annoyed. And then I think 25, they're like really, really annoyed. So, I didn't feel right because we're obviously still trying to, we're only just starting to make money and I need to get the debt going ASAP. And I don't really use Blue Dragon. So I gave him 50% and now he's annoyed. Um, so we essentially, what I'm going to do is put a bit more of our resources into trying to actually really fix Mutant and now Blue Dragon's morale. Um, and see if maybe it helps with if it helps with like the ratings and stuff, more so Mutant, because I'm more like, I feel like I'm putting more of a expectations on him. But I'm not joking, I'm going to only give it maybe like 3 or 4 months of really trying. And if it doesn't fix it for Mutant or Blue Dragon, I'm just going to release him and bring in someone else because we're now paying Blue Dragon double. He's went from $30 to 60, which is like the second most I'm paying anyone. I think Connor Threepwood, who I brought in, who actually had pop when I brought him in, and he still does, I guess. He gets $80 per show or 70. Blue Dragon's on 60, and then everyone else is on like 40 or 30. And yeah, I don't know. I could easily bring in someone else fresh for 60 who has more pop than Blue Dragon and is way more useful. That's on my short list, you know? So it's like, we'll try and fix it just for the sake of it, but we'll see. Creative finish I want for my main event. A bit of a gamble. You know what? We'll try it. We'll take it. In fact, we'll do one more. We'll do one more. Do we have the points for it? Yeah, we do. We do. Likely to succeed. I'm assuming that's more. That's better than a bit of a gamble. Yeah, that's fine then. And then I want obviously character ideas, probably for Mutant and Blue Dragon. Let's see, a surefire hit. So we have two of them now. So we'll leave it at that actually, because what we'll do now is locker room incidents. Mutant came to you backstage with an angle idea. Um, okay, he already came to me with an angle idea, and I'm pretty sure it failed when we used it, but we used it anyway. We'll just do it again, and you know what? We'll just do it again. Mutant and Historian apparently got into a heated argument. Oh god, Mutant, what are you doing to me? Apparently, the Architect and Max Mayhem have bonded recently. Well, that's more positive. And Blue Dragon gave the locker room a lift as you unrevealed a series of spot on impressions. Right, well, I'll take it, I guess. We are definitely not doing team bonding. Let's try pull a rib again. Oh, I didn't know Connor was irritated. Probably actually because I left him off the last show, I bet. Same with Dr. Funkenstein, actually. Let's pull a rib on Max Mayhem. Minor rib. Fail to provide any negative or positives. I don't think we've actually had a positive rib yet. They've all been neutral, or the one with Dr. Funkenstein failed. But anyway, okay, Blue Dragon. We. Wait, what? Oh, what the hell? One of them. I didn't even notice that. One of the. This one's character idea is just for Connor, which actually is fine because he needs it. He seems to be annoyed. But we are going to give this to Blue Dragon since we've already actually gave one or two to Mutant before in the past. So what is he right now? He's very cool momentum, which is like he's one off being ice cold, so we don't really care about that. But hopefully he isn't annoyed after this, or it helps a little bit. Boom. Yes, it was a success. His momentum dropped. He's still annoyed, but his momentum's actually went up, which I mean, I guess I'll take it, even though I don't really care right now. And he's irritated. So let's see if we can get him back on at least neutral terms. It was a success. Okay, he's back to normal, so that's something. How's our backstage looking? It's still average. Mutant is a mildly negative influence still. And speaking of Mutant, we'll actually start off the show with Mutant. He can actually do. Let's see what his whole angle idea was. We'll use it. It's probably We'll just have him cut a promo. We'll have it scripted because he does have decent performance, but it's just his microphone skill lets him down a little bit. So we'll just try it scripted. We will do his angle idea, which is extremely risky. I don't think I've ever seen a success rate of extremely risky. That's hilarious. So it's essentially going to fail, but we're essentially just digging Mutant his own grave at this point. I'm kind of like annoyed with him. I feel like he's my son that's destined for glory, and he's just not. He's just not living up to it. You know, I'm like the stereotypical strict parent. I can't help it though. I really thought he'd be really good from bringing him in, but it's not even like we're booking him horribly. Like he's winning a lot of his matches. He has good momentum. He's got a legendary gimmick. Like I don't know what more I can do with him in that sense. And we'll have him. Yeah, he's on red hot momentum. Albeit we gave him a character idea too, so that helps. But Jesus Christ, what has the guy got to do around here to get this man? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what's going on with him. We will have him actually. I don't really want to do face against face again. We might just have to. Ooh, yeah, we'll do mutant. What are you irritated about? Is it being left off the show? I'm assuming so. Let's make sure we use Dr. Funk this time. We'll only do 8 minutes. Mutant getting an open match, clean win. Move that down. Then we'll also book in our tag match, which we will do Connor against Blue Dragon. And Blue Dragon can have you know, we'll do Papa Swole and Connor. Quite like that. And we'll do Marco. Got to make sure we're not overusing Marco, which is such a weird thing that popped up. And we'll give Papa Swole the win. Marco can take the loss. This will be an open match, but also another clean win. Move this one up. And we might as well get on with booking our main event. I've never actually done this yet because I think it ups your show cost. But just for the sake of it, we'll actually do let's do. It still has pretty low prestige. I think we could actually do submission. I think both of these guys. Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of them have a. I know you have a submission finisher. You're quite technical. Yeah, 75. What's Architect? Yeah, let's do a submission match, actually. I quite like that. Submission match. We'll do, of course, Davis. He's getting his rematch clause. And he's up against the Architect. Now, let's get a creative finish on this. This is a bit more of a risky one. But, wait, what? Davis Wayne Newton creative finish? A bit of a gamble. This one's likely to succeed. When does it expire? Not for a while. When did we get this? In February? Oh my god, did I get that just now? And I swear I'm doing the ideas and I'm not noticing the restrictions on them, like, at all. I swear it did not say. But I guess he needs to be set as the victor though, which he's not going to be, so we'll have to use this one. Good thing we had two. So yeah, scripted, because the reason I say that is because, of course, the Architect will win in an open match. Tainted win, which should even itself out with the, if we get the success of the creative finish, the Tainted win. And of course these two give us an odd heel and face combination, both being heels, but you know, you can only work with what you got, and that'll also further our storyline. They'll get a boost from our extremely hot storyline. So I can't really complain here. Now, ideally, we could, honestly, we could just do another tag match and it would work out. But, because I don't really want to leave anyone off the show, but we don't really have anything for those guys. Papa Swole advances on that one, Mutant. Yeah. It's a bit lazy booking, but it's not like we do it all the time or whatever. This kind of sense of like just chucking. We usually just chuck one match together, then the other ones are focused around something. But yeah, this works. This still works. Just a case of who gets the win here. I think maybe Historian and Jules Knight. Yeah. I feel like another tag match, a lot of the faces are winning. We'll give Jules Knight the pin. It's quite a rare occurrence. Of course, Max will take the loss rather than Remy. Open match. And we'll give them a clean win too. And that will probably, I'm trying to think out of these two tag matches what will get better. Because Jules Knight and Remy will pull in a pretty good rating. The Historian has not been doing too bad either. I think, yeah, that one definitely goes there. So we'll do the mutant intro. Then we'll also do. Makes sense to keep the Papa Swole train going. He can do a promo in the ring. I don't really have any premises for this, so just for the sake of quick booking, we'll just do cutting a promo for 5 minutes in the ring after his win with Connor. It's just him on his own though. And then I think that's pretty much okay. Yeah, this is fine. We don't usually do two tag matches. Usually we just do the one, but it doesn't seem like anyone we're using right now has a positive chemistry together, which has been a bit of a shame. But yeah, like I mentioned, Mutant and Blue Dragon, we're going to keep a close eye on them, and if nothing really changes in the next few months, more so Mutant's in-ring performances, I want them to go up, because he'll be, even though his morale I think seems to be much harder to fix, but we'll keep an eye on that. And more for Blue Dragon, it's just a case of the money. Depending on how quick we make money, start to make more and more money, will more depend on if we keep him or not. Right, let's do this. Oh, nice, we get triple digits. 103 people, which is a positive, but we don't start off on the greatest positive because Mutant's angle failed. As I expected. I think it was like basically told me not to use it, essentially, is what it said in the roundabout way. But 29 is still more than good enough for our shows and our standard right now. So, and it gets the show off to a strong start, gets the crowd hotter. So, I can't really say much more than that, to be honest. Moving into Mutant's match, which gets a 40. So he hits a 44. It must be his inconsistency then. But he did really bad last show, even though he's not getting penalised for that. But 44, I'll take it. Gets the crowd hotter. Mutant benefits from having a hot new move. 27 from Funkenstein, but to be expected. Mutant gets the win with a Tina Turner in 8 minutes 24. 40 rating. Not bad, not bad. I'll take it. Then we move into the first of two tag matches, which Papa Swole defeats Blue Dragon. Or sorry, him and Connor defeat Blue Dragon and Marco when Papa Swole pins Marco Gonzalez with a boom shakalaka. 29 for both Dragon and Marco, which isn't too great, but obviously they are very green. Well, Marco's very green and Blue Dragon's in the mud with his momentum, but we get a 43, so we're still on the rise. It's a bit of a slow start from what we're used to, but Papa Swole with a 45 in ring. I think this will be a year we push Papa Swole a bit harder, because I do like him, and he's probably our best face, to be honest. But yep, 43. Then Papa Swole's angle also gets a 43. He performed well going off script, benefits from his hot catchphrase. It's just a pretty generic promo after his win, essentially hyping up the crowd, being a classic babyface, sort of slowly pushing towards getting his title shot again. Now that we have a new champ, and we have our second tag match, which I'm glad we put this one here. 47 segment rating. Jules Knight gets the pin on Max Mayhem with a time for bed, so him and the Historian pick up the win. The Historian pulls in a 41, just one below Jules Knight with a 42. Pretty solid here, pretty well rounded. Max, to no surprise, gets the lowest in ring, but these are fairly good numbers. 47 overall, very good. Then we move on to our main event. In about that had superb wrestling and good heat. The Architect defeats Davis Wayne Newton in 17 minutes by submission with a blueprint after blatantly cheating, making defence number 2. So Davis Wayne Newton fails on his rematch clause to regain his title in this submission match. We get very solid ratings here. A little lower than what we're maybe used to, but we will get penalised for a few things here. 57 from the Architect, 53 from Davis. But of course, we get big boosts on this for our segment rating, which is 62, which is definitely the first and best match we've done yet. We're finally breaking the barrier on 60. I believe the main event of December, the Fatal 4, we got a 58 segment rating, which was the highest at that point. Now we've just hit 62. Great. Creative finish was a success. The Founding Fathers storyline advances with this segment, which will also, of course, have gave us a boost. Yeah, so the odd face heel combination was the only real thing we get penalised for across the board. But then obviously more specifically things like physical condition for Davis Wayne Newton was penalised, and I think that might have been it. Yeah, lots of bonuses, good stuff here. Defence number 2 for the Architect. So now the question is, who's going to be up next, you know? Davis Wayne was kind of his strongest competitor in that sense, but again, as usual, the Architect uses every tool in his arsenal to win, and he cheats again, just like he did against Blue Dragon. 55 overall show rating. We pretty much got carried by that title match main event because nothing else hit over 50. So 55 is pretty good. I'll take it. We should hopefully go up popularity here because we didn't last show. We're actually going to give this to... No, we'll give it to Blue Dragon and Mutant. We're using a lot of our resources here for the next couple months, mainly on these two guys, but I want to make sure if the time comes and I have to release them, that I don't regret it, in the sense I could have done more to maybe keep them and use them to my advantage how I want them, because obviously I signed them both for a reason at the very beginning, like, you know, with things in mind. But if it doesn't work out and I have to release them, I want to know, you know, at least I used the character ideas on them, or gave them compliments and booked them a bit stronger. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Only time can tell. We use a bit more money. I think Blue Dragon's back on tour, I'm pretty sure, so that will be one of those things. 1,000 on workers though, that is... Yeah, fair enough, I guess. So yeah, we move up to 11. No media scrum. Pretty good show here, ending February. I think once we start making a bit of money, we'll go over our finances here real quick because we're near the end of the year. We'll quickly advance and just see where we're at with it to the end of the month, just so I can get a bit of an insight. We'll maybe have a look at one or two of the people we care most about for their pop, because I actually want to check Hangman because he's obviously not getting used. So I want to make sure his popularity's not dropping. I don't know if that will be a thing. It maybe would take a bit longer. It probably would be eventually, but I'll need to take a look at it. And our finances, I'm pretty sure, are still going up. We're still making money, but once we start making like quite a nice chunk of money, I might start doing 2 events in the month, even though we're not going to gain more popularity. But if it helps with gaining a little bit more money, and obviously we get to use our workers a bit more, which in turn means they improve a little bit faster, which is obviously, it's always a win-win in that sense. Blue Dragon gone. His tour is ended. Yeah, so let's have a look. Finances. So we actually made 300, which was a huge boost up from December and November, but it's gone down a little bit here, because yeah, it's really gone up. It's jumped up a fair chunk. I guess on January we ended up not using 3 workers, whereas on February it was only the 1, even with the travel costs that probably come into effect. But you know, our ticket sales are still on the rise, our sponsorship still on the rise, even our merchandise, of course, with all the popularity we're gaining, slowly going up. So we obviously made a little less this month, but it's nothing to worry about. We're making money, that's the main thing, and it will more or less slowly just keep going up. We do, of course, now have some minor with Doctor and Blue Dragon. Let me actually see. I mean, we pretty much know what his is. His will be, yeah, being refused his full pay rise, but he's only irritated, which isn't far off, I think, back on neutral terms. You're irritated. Oh, he is actually irritated about the rib. It must have not actually showed me or took effect until after the show. Only irritated though. I think we can fix that, to be honest. And then of course Mutant is still annoyed, which is a bit further away. I wonder if this will go away. Surely it will. Maybe after a year, which would be the end of next month. So I maybe actually need to keep an eye on that to see if it just goes away and he's maybe more likely to be back on the good books. Maybe, maybe not though. But popularity, Connor's still on 19 after he sort of dropped. He's not really moved back up yet. Blue Dragon's on 10. But look at his popularity in Japan. It's yeah, all those tours are paying off for him. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets picked up by a Japanese company. Honestly, he actually could be the first person to get um sort of swooped from under our feet on an exclusive deal, which to me would be hilarious because we're obviously not booking him strong here and he's not over in America, but it would be pretty funny just for the sake of how it would all work out. Davis Wayne, I think he stays 23. No, so he lost 1 point after losing his title rematch, which is fine. 23, 14 for the Doc. He's still not. He started on 15, and we've not quite been able to get him up, mainly because we're obviously not using him in that way. But one thing I've also realised, it also doesn't help. We only do one show a month, and most of these guys, like half of them maybe, don't actually work with other companies. But I'm realising on this version of the game that worker skills do not improve. Well, actually, I'm saying that and I'm looking at him, and it's going up. Quite a few of them I went up, but a lot of them I have been looking at. Their skills aren't really improving a lot from what they were in previous games. But obviously, there's like loads to consider with the fact we're so small and we don't have like trainers yet, or our inner circle's not fully booked out, and we're not obviously doing like 5 shows a week, or a month, sorry. So I'm not really looking into it too much, but I have kind of noticed, even for at this level, I feel like on the last version of the game, it was going up much quicker. So Hangman stays 18. We're obviously not using him, but I was curious to see. Jules 14, 4 for Marco, who's new. Don't really care too much about that. Mutant is staying at 16 for the time being. Papa Swole has jumped up to 19, which is good. He's almost hitting 20. The Architect's on 24. He actually went up 2. He went up 1 after beating Blue Dragon, and then 2 for his win on Davis, which is pretty good considering he's not been winning clean, and very rarely does he win clean. The Historian's up to 14. He didn't start on that, did he? Maybe he did. Maybe he had a little bit of pop. I must have not noticed that. Yeah, he came in then, was it December? No, January. He's jumped up 2 and stayed at 14. Okay, not bad. Anyway, yeah, making pop. Workers are going up in pop. Moving into March, we're pretty much just slugging along here until we hit 17, which will obviously boost us up. As we go up in size, we'll get a nice little boost to our momentum and prestige, which in turn will give us more of a crowd and more money. It's just a big snowball, essentially, we're trying to get in motion. But pretty solid stuff. We'll have to, yeah, as I say, we'll keep an eye on Mutant and Blue Dragon going forward, and if it doesn't change, I'm just going to replace them, to be honest. It's not going to be a big blow to us, so there's no point in worrying about it if we don't need to. Especially because I do not want this backstage to get worse, so we'll see how it goes. But until next time, hope you guys have a good day, and I'll see you for the next episode.